What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to YGOPD, your Yu-Gi-Oh! Professional Development. And today I have something really insane to share with you guys. I have my Tri-Brigade, Adventurer, Punk, DPE deck all blended together in a clean 40 cards with plenty of room for both hand traps and or going second cards depending on your preference. Really excited to share this with you. And of course, if we hit 15 likes, we'll go ahead and do the deck analysis with the combo and the niche interactions and all that good stuff. And of course, before I hop into it, we'll do a quick new sub shout out to Jeraziah, Seti, Swimmer, and Genghis. Thank you all so much for joining the channel. If you would like to be included in the next sub shout out, make sure that your subscriptions are public when you sub to the channel. And with all that said, let's go ahead and hop right into it. All right, we'll go ahead and hop into the main deck. I'm going to showcase this by engine just because I think that's a little bit easier to process and understand. And a big shout out to Jake on the Pug Facebook group, Sanctum Squad on YouTube. He was the original one, I think, that innovated this idea. I've not seen anything like it. I took it and ran with it. I think it's really cool. I've made a few twists on it, but it's definitely an insane concept that if you have the cards, you should really try blending it together. It is absolutely nuts. But to start with the adventure engine, we have triple right, getting us our Omni Negate, our token, and then Fateful Adventure. Of course, 3 Water Enchantress getting us 2 right, and then obviously 1 Draco back, 1 Fateful Adventure, and 1 Griffin. This is a pretty standard engine. I also do play the 1 Foolish Burial. This can also be blended in with the Tri-Brigade stuff to get another name or get a search if you want, but I figured I'd just put it here. But the Brave is pretty self-explanatory, or the adventure engine of how we function with that. For the Tri-Brigades, we play triple Fractal. This is what gets you any name to your hand. On top of that, we also play triple Kit. Dumps another Tri-Brigade from deck to grave. Triple Nerval, which is your actual search, your Rhoda that gets you the name from deck to hand. And then we play double Kairos. Kairos is like the most important card here in the deck. I know there's 2, but you want to play without your normal summon because of the adventure engine. But the more I tested, I don't think 3 is necessary. You run so many times to search and get it that it's just 2 is fine. And there's different areas where you can cut space. And obviously, Fractal, Kit, and Nerval are all ways to get to Kairos, so they're a little better to open than just Kairos itself, since you could search other things if you want. But you can bump this up to 3 if you want, but I have not seen any need to. And then, of course, in line with that, we just play the 1 Tenki and the 1 Revolt. You can play more Revolt, but I think it's fine at 1. Definitely not needed because you should be winning by that time anyway. On to the Punk engine. This is probably a little bit bigger of a Punk engine, but we play 3 Foxy Tune. You want to max out on this card. This is actually a beast, so it is names that can be discarded for Kairos, pitched off the Tri-Brigades, banished off the Tri-Brigades, and brought back with Revolt. So really strong card, just does so much on its own. In line with that, we play 2 Z Ammon and no other monsters. You're not trying to necessarily get Hauck with just the Punk engine, so you don't need Madam Spider, you don't need Gabu or anything like that. This is more focusing on the Beast effect and getting Beasts engraved for the Tri-Brigade names. And the Z Ammon as a tuner is just kind of a bonus, either going into something like Hauck or Nat Beast. And then last for the Punk engine is 3 Emergency Teleport. Emergency Teleport is really strong in this deck. I think it really needs to be maxed out because, again, it allows you to do what you want without your normal summon, and is just an insane extender in this deck. So that's it for the Punk piece. Onto the DPE piece. This is going to look just a little bit weird, but we play 1 Dasher, 1 Celestial, and 1 Fusion Destiny. This is really all that's needed. You don't need a second Fusion Destiny unless you're very concerned about making sure that you resolve Anaconda, but it's not that big of a deal, especially when you can put back the bricks if you draw them with a card like Farragut or Bearbrum. And 1 Fusion Destiny was always fine. If I opened it, it was great to use, but not like even if they negate Anaconda or anything like that, it's not the end of the world. Anaconda is not like the main goal of this deck. This is a really just powerful supplemental follow-up to doing everything else. But I'm not really sure how to explain it other than the fact that once you play it, you realize that you would just rather have any other card in your hand other than the hard Fusion Destiny, just because it's something that you really search along the way. So that's the DPE piece. And then the last part of the deck are your kind of going second cards or your hand traps of choice. I played 3 Forbidden Droplet. I think in this deck it's absolutely necessary. Pitching Tri-Names, pitching Adventure stuff is just too good not to abuse. With this card, it just does so much on its own and shuts down pretty much everything. And then after that is 3 Tactics. You could replace this with whatever you want, hand trap of choice. I'm thinking of switching this to either imperm or gamma, just something that can be used immediately to turn off something, or just be, you know, activate imperm, chain droplet, send imperm, just to get a little bit more value. But tactics was still fine. But I think something that can be used a little bit more immediately is preferable in this deck. I just don't know what I would cut for driver, but again, you can manipulate these 6 slots however you want, but they performed more than fine for the event that I had tested at. So that is it for the main deck. We will go ahead and hop into the extra deck, and we'll kind of do this by chunks as well for respective engines. Starting off, we will do some of the generic links. For the big ones, we have, starting off here, that are more like just generic access code, Unicorn, Appaloosa. These are kind of your 3 big ones that you really focus on a little bit more. Access code is self-explanatory. Shout out to my boy Grant for hooking me up with this, just for OTKs and going for game. Appaloosa is fine. It's just kind of something else to end on if you're kind of in an awkward spot, and it's still just a solid piece of disruption. You're usually making this for 3, 2 at the absolute worst. And then Unicorn is just a unique piece of disruption that kind of lets you climb through links if you need, but it's just a good slot to have in here if you need it. So and then for the generic kind of smaller links, we just play 1 Mirage. This is obviously just for any of the normal summons for your Brigade names is really what it's used for. But you kind of need it in the hard times where you do open like Kit or Nerval and you have to normal summon. But it's still fine because all those effects activate Engrave and you're not using a normal summon effect that would conflict with the Adventure engine. And then obviously we play 1 Anaconda and 1 Phoenix Enforcer for the DPE package. Pretty self-explanatory here. Nothing more to say about that. And then for the Brigade names, we play 2 Shureg, which is probably pretty self-explanatory. One is something that you can hard make, and the other is just something that you usually get off Revolt. 1 Bearbrum and 1 Farragut, and that is actually it for all the names. The way I built this, you don't need a second Farragut or a Bearbrum. You're really only ever going into these once on your opening turn, and after that, you're not really doing much beyond that. You should have an established game state, or you're just pushing in for your other things like Access Code or Unicorn going second. And you don't need Rugal. If you really want to test it, you can, but Rugal is truly not needed. Unicorn does what it needs to perfectly fine. There's like been very rare instances where I wish I had Rugal as a way to trigger for Omen, but at the same time, you're just going to use Omen off of the summon itself for when you use Revolt anyway, so it's not that necessary. So that's it for the tri-names. And then probably the most spice of the extra deck is how Hauck is utilized in the deck. So Hauck is an insane piece. It's not used to necessarily Selene Climb or Access Code. There's a few different ways we can use it that I really like, and I've kind of come to make my own in this deck. Obviously, the main tuner you get is Z Ammon, the level 3 Earth, which is very specific and noteworthy. You can play a Ghost Ogre if you want. I've tried it, and I just don't like it. I just prefer a different slot. But the 1 Hauck is important because of a few different things. The first piece is obviously Nat Beast. This kind of goes in line with Hauck a little bit because Kairos is an Earth and Z Ammon is an Earth, so you can end on a card like Nat Beast, which is really powerful right now in this format. Granted, they don't hard open Dark Ruler no more, but Nat Beast is really strong. And then the other part of how we're using Hauck is a card called Desert Locust. This is my tuner of choice to tag out into on my opponent's turn. This card says when it's summoned, the turn player discards a card. So when you summon this on your opponent's turn, they're forced to discard a card from their hand, so they're down an extra card. Of course, they get to choose, but it doesn't really matter since you're hitting a card out of their hand. And then it has the effect, obviously, to quick synchro on your turn, or on the turn, like your opponent's turn. So you're making one of 2 things. You're making Baron, or you're making Borreload Savage. The Adventure token is actually a level 4, so you can use Griffin, and once the Griffin negate is used, you can synchro with this in the token to make Baron. Or if you choose not to do the Nat Beast line and you leave Kairos on the board, you can synchro with Kairos and the Desert Locust to make Borreload Savage, since Hauck will be engraved for an additional negate as well. So it's just a really powerful and diverse line that gives you a few different ways to interact. And you can be greedy with this deck because you're setting up Brave Engine before you do anything else, so all your plays are insulated. So, but yeah, that is it for the deck. With that said, again, 15 likes for the analysis video along with the combos and all the interactions and that good stuff. But with that said, thank you all again so much for watching. Huge shout out to our newest subs of the channel again. And with all that said, I will see you all on the next one. Later.